are now at reaction moments. Georgia lost Saturday, so that means that they had to literally break rules to let an SEC team in because Alabama was the winner of the game. Let's keep it real. If this was not Alabama, they would have did the right thing. Okay, we know that if they would have had to play, say somebody like who would be, say they played Auburn and Auburn beat Georgia. You're not going to have Georgia. You're not going to have Georgia try to. You're not going to do it to where Georgia gets out. You would have figured out a way to put Georgia back in. You know what I mean? That's how stupid and biased this situation is. I told Jeff, I told Mike, I told everybody at the beginning of the year, I got a feeling that the SEC is not going to have the team. They're going to get everybody's going to lose in the SEC this year, okay? And it's not going to be good enough for them to get into the CFP. But I said, can we? It was one of my, bold statements that I said we'll have a CFP finally without the SEC to see exactly why, to see exactly who can win the national championship and have a great game at the same time too. And once again, the powers that be did the wrong thing. You don't have to cater to Alabama. You don't. You don't have to cater to Alabama. You don't have to cater to Georgia. You don't have to cater to the SEC. They had a down year. I think really at the end of the day, they were, when you rank Power 5 conferences outside of their two elite teams, they were just a bit better than the ACC this year. ACC was awful. That's why Florida State got left out, because they used that as the excuse. They did the same thing to Baylor. They did the same thing to TCU a decade ago. They said the conference wasn't good enough, so we're not going to put you in the Final Four. And your name is not Texas, and your name is not Oklahoma. Texas got in simply because their name is Texas. And Texas is a part of the Big 12, and this is the Big 12 goodbye for Texas. So they want to make sure that they put in the most popular team in the conference to be a part of the Final Four. Then you have Alabama. Alabama is pretty much the owner of the South. Okay, every redneck hillbilly person that loves football, Alabama's their team. And you know what? Alabama brings the ratings to the show. And a lot of people say, well, Florida State would have got cooked. Florida State had a national title defense. How do you know they were going to get cooked? How do you know all this was going to happen without 3 weeks of preparation? You prepare for 3 weeks. You start figuring out things about the other team. How could you say they could lose? No, they were a big threat to win. That's why. And you didn't want to have this super Cinderella story of Florida State, because why? You gave Florida State so much love in the BCS era. Yeah. And when it was BCS, there was 3 times where Florida State had no business being in the national championship game, and they let them in. So you guys have to understand, teams are taking their proverbial licks right now of what has been done for them in the past, okay? And it sucks. It really does. And making a playoff isn't going to make this better. It isn't. What's going to make it better is when you just let 1 and 2 play each other on Monday night for the national title. It's that simple, okay? You don't need a Final Four. You don't need any of that. We know who the best teams in the nation truly are. And you know what? At the end of the day, we got to stop selling everybody going undefeated, because that's what's putting all the pressure on these teams. That's why all these teams are falling apart when we get to the final days of the season and we get into bowl games. Everybody want to be in the transfer portal and all this other extra stuff. If you just keep games to where it's like, okay, your most important game is your conference championship, and then from there we'll reward you with a great bowl game. It's that simple, because they're already paying you $15 million as is. So what is the point? Writers and the people who have done this who did it for 80 years before you came up with all these brand new nothing ass ideas, they were able to get it right. Because if you put up the 1970 national champion against anybody in the nation that was in the top 10, they would have beat them all. This is how you fix the problem. You schedule better. Stop putting North Alabama on your schedule, Alabama. Stop putting Citadel on your schedule, Alabama. Stop putting Georgia Georgia School of the Death, Georgia. The SEC, if you're so great, then you need to start scheduling the best of the best to play you in the first 3 weeks. When you did that with Texas, they beat you. So that's why I'm not impressed with this situation. And it is what it is at the end of the day. It truly is. It truly, truly is. And you know what? That's all we can do. That's all we can see. And you know what? Let's just enjoy some football. It's all entertainment at the end of the day, anyway. So, with that, that's my 2 cents on that. I'll be talking more about college football, bowl games, and bets and all that good stuff and where we need to go once we get to that point. But you guys, I'm a little teed off just like everybody else. But at the end of the day, I understand. I've seen way worse in college football, and I totally understand why you have Alabama here. I totally understand why you have Texas here. It's really not about being competitive. It's about ratings. It's about storyline. It's about talking about things. You have to understand they're making a whole big soap opera out of this situation instead of just getting down to the nitty gritty of things. And you can manipulate college sports just like that. It is what it is. That's why, at the end of the day, y'all got to understand college football. If you love it, just enjoy the games, enjoy the systems that they have in place, and you know what? Just have fun. It's just it's a passing time sport, to be honest with you. They never gonna know who the real champion is in college sports. I always in college football, but I always feel like the conference champion pretty much solidifies who the damn champion truly is of the conference that they was chasing. The bowl game is a reward. This is where we go get a check. So just chill. You know what I mean? So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about the in-season tournament knockout rounds. All right. You know what? We got a great situation here with the in-season tournament.